There are two bets you need to make for Thursday Night Football in Week 8. We took last week off with so much uncertainty, but were profitable the 3 weeks prior. This week's matchup is between the Buffalo Bills and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs headed into this game at 3-3, while the Bills are 4-3. The Bucs injury report is showing that Baker Mayfield and Chris Godwin are trending towards playing, while Vita Vea, their defensive tackle, and offensive guard Matt Feeler may not play here after 2 straight DNPs. The Bills will be without Dawson Knox and Quentin Morris, meaning that we could see a bigger role for a rookie tight end, Dalton Kincaid. The Bills are 8.5-point favorites in this spot with a total of 42.5. This leaves their team totals, the Bills team total at 25.5, and the Bucs is at 16.5. And after a strong start, the Bucs have scored just 19 points the past 2 weeks, but there might be some reason for optimism in this spot. The first bet I like here, though, is Dalton Kincaid to go over 39.5 receiving yards. Dawson Knox is out, which means it is go time for Dalton Kincaid. Last week, Kincaid went for 75 yards on 8 receptions against Pat's defense that has normally been pretty stout against opposing tight ends. The Bucs defense has played pretty solid against tight ends themselves as well. But the key is that Kincaid doesn't really play tight end all that much. He lined up out wide nearly 40% of the time last week, lined up in the slot 35% of the time, and was lining up in line just 17% of the time. I don't think that changes a ton with Kincaid and Morris out, but he might see even more usage potentially, but a little bit more traditional tight end usage. I expect them to personally to play more 11 personnel without Knox and leverage Kincaid in similar ways they did last week. And then on top of this, last week against zone coverage, Kincaid absolutely crushed, going 7 for 71 against zone coverage, just 1 for 4 against man coverage. He had a 35% target share against zone coverage, higher than his teammate Stephon Diggs. The Bucs play zone nearly 70% of the time, one of the highest rates in the league. They also blitz at a super high rate. So zone blitzing, Kincaid led the team in target share against zone blitzes as well last week. So I'm expecting big things for Dalton Kincaid on Thursday night. My second bet, a little bit gross, not going to be for everyone, but I like the Bucs team total over 16.5 points. You're getting the start of the key number of 17, which I think is pretty important. It's a surprisingly solid matchup with the Bills defense incredibly banged up. They've been hit hard by injuries, whether it's the line, the secondary, the linebackers. Everyone's banged up at this point. Over their past 3 games, they've allowed a 71.8% completion rate, which is 28th in the league, 7.6 yards per attempt, which is 22nd, and a 103.5 passer rating so far, despite 2 of the quarterbacks being Mac Jones and Tyrod Taylor. On top of that, the Bills allowed 29 points to the Patriots offense that looked borderline lifeless prior to this game. So I think we're going to see a relatively reasonable outing for the Bucs, maybe 17, maybe 20 points, but getting over 16.5 seems like a pretty solid look in my book. And if you liked all these bets, get all my official plays over at 44.com and get 25% off the betting subscription using code YouTube. And I release 10 to 15 player props per week. All of them are playable at multiple different sports books. On top of that, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel as well.